Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. We are getting close to Alpha 3.20, going to Wave 1 PTU, and the features the patch have changed quite a bit over the last few months, with them adding new features, pushing some features to later patches, and Cloud Imperium mentioning some additional plans for the patch. So let's delve into all things Alpha 3.20, from timelines to features to expectations, with the latest, most up-to-date information. Currently, the 3.20 patch is in the EVOCATI phase, which is the closed phase of testing. NDA backers basically have a look at it. The patch should go live roughly by the end of September, although it could come before. It could come after if they push it towards CitizenCon time in October, but it looks like it's going to be a September release. However, we should start to see the wider PTU testing really soon, within the next few weeks. So Wave 1 to 5 for the PTU tests, according to Cloud Imperium, should be relatively quick this time. There's a bit of a restructure for these waves as well, hopefully allowing CIG to have players that are going to be more active during the patch cycle. Most players there will either be subscribers, which gets access, or players that have the most hours in the game over the last two major patches. Is there going to be a ship and Alpha UEC wipe for the main patch? We don't know yet. There's been some rumors of that. Cloud Imperium have now said that they have a much better way of consistently copying data between patches now. However, if they need to wipe, they will wipe. So we don't know for sure. Feature-wise for 3.20, let's start with the roadmap before we go on to more obscure features that have been mentioned. Seraphim Station. They're replacing Port Olisar finally around Crusader, so Seraphim Station looks a bit like Port Olisar, but it's much larger, and it has all the facilities that the other low-orbit stations have. They're adding the mighty Hull C. This is a giant hauler that can be expanded or contracted. When it's expanded out, it has a load of cargo spindles, and you can attach a huge amount of cargo to it. It cannot land while it's in its expanded mode. And there's new cargo updates that have come with this as well. So there are new 32 SCU cargo containers, these giant shipping containers. They can fit into any ship that can physically fit them, apparently, and they can temporarily be moved around with the multi-tool tractor beams until they have ship tractor beams in-game and larger tractor beams in-game. There's also loading of the Hull C at low orbit stations at little areas that are designated as the loading bays. They're typically used if you've bought cargo while your ship is contracted in a bay, and then you've left the station, and then they'll go over here to get your cargo. There are new salvage missions, cover-ups. Basically, you are tasked to go to an area, find a ship there, and remove all of its identifiable markings before the cops turn up. You'll do this with salvage beams on the Vulture or the Claimer, or potentially by hand, I suppose. We're getting a wheeled vehicle handling update, so physics update for ground vehicles here. This should make them have a much more enjoyable experience while driving them around on the ground. I believe this is also a bit of an update for the tank as well, even though it's not technically wheeled, it's tracked, but I do believe there's a little few updates there. There are major updates to Arena Commander, the sort of more arcadey module for Star Citizen. So the front end's been totally refreshed. It's easy to start games, lobbies are better, Star Marine and Arena Commander are kind of merged here. Racetrack updates, so there's 4 Persistent Universe tracks that have been brought into Arena Commander, and they've added an additional one, Halloran Circuit, as well. There's a planetary atmospheric map. This is Planet Green, LS3. The Speedway tracks are all hosted here, so they're all sort of updated and fresh. It actually flies like you're in an atmosphere. Basically, you've got 8 tracks to play around with in Arena Commander now. But also, that map is available for free fly, dogfighting, and swarm modes. I believe it's called the Winner's Circuit. And there are new dogfighting maps as well beyond that. Jericho Station. Obviously, we've got Jericho Station in the Persistent Universe. This is a nice open space light resource map, so you will not have as many problems with frame rates and stuff. It's great for tournaments, I suppose. Security Post Korea is also available as a dogfighting map. I believe the turrets also shoot at you. Security Post Korea, again, is available as a FPS map too, so you can play that in the Star Marine type game modes. And there's a new version of Echo 11, smaller for elimination modes. Pirate Swarms had a big update as well, so you'll notice some loadout changes and ship changes, but at the end of Pirate Swarm, there is a much larger fleet battle now, where a couple of F8s will come to assist you, but you have to survive and hold out against a large fleet, including capital ships. If you hold out long enough, you'll get a big UEE fleet coming to assist you there. there's going to be some updated awards for that too. So like Spectrum badges and that sort of thing. Something that has me quite excited about the Arena Commander updates as well is these new experimental modes. So they're going to rotate and add in lots of different modes they've got planned for Arena Commander, test them, evolve them. You've got Tank Royale. Literally, you can play this in Squadron battle mode or solo or whatever, and you will be shooting each other in tanks, driving around. There's Gun Rush or Gun Game, so that's FPS, you running around and you get a different gun every time you get a kill, and the first person to get through the whole gun list wins. There's Infinite Wave Vandal Swarm, does what it says on the tin. There's Single Weapon Elimination as well, which I believe at the moment is set to the Arclight Pistol for the initial 3.20 launch, and there's going to be more modes that might be swapped in and out. They are also testing out master modes via experimental modes. So master modes are the big changes between nav mode, flying in your ship, which gives you the ability to go to quantum boost, you can go above your SCM speeds, cruise around, but you don't have access to your weapons or shields or anything like that. And then there's SCM or combat mode, which basically gives you access to your weapons and shields and all those systems, but you can't quantum travel and you can't go above your SCM speeds. This gives a cool little testing space in the live builds for players to download the live build and then do some additional testing without having to download the PTU or anything like that. Really, really like that idea. Now, there are various other updates to this patch as well. So the devs have mentioned some stuff on Spectrum or Reddit, Inside Star Citizen, the monthly reports. The Ares Heavy Fighter is getting some updates, or at least it's planned to. So it's going to get a little bit of aim assist, which will actually help a huge amount with that ship, I believe. And spread reduction for the size 4 to size 7 Gatling weapons is getting done as well. So that's quite a huge reduction in the spread for things like the Inferno. There are new bunker or underground facility updates as well. Basically, Cloud Imperium have updated them all to use Rastar properly. The externals should see a bit of a refresh. You might see some updates to the internals. They'll be quite minor at this stage, I believe. Basically, there are new missions that make use of them, but this update's more bringing them over to the new system rather than changing much. There are various animation improvements planned for 3.20, including basic idles for weapons and knives, according to the monthly reports. There are various improvements to mining coming for Alpha 3.20 based on community feedback, including updates to stability and predictability when mining. So Cloud Imperium want players to enjoy mining, and they don't want them all to focus just on the new stuff and salvage and what their newest fun gameplay feature is. They do want the game to be tested across the field. I'd expect a bit of an economy rebalance for mining too. The Vulture, that's going to be purchasable in-game as well, finally. Now, there's also a 3.20.x patch that's planned out as well with some additional features that aren't quite going to make the initial launch of 3.20. So this is the new Crusader platforms. So this was originally a 3.20 initial feature, but they went, it's not ready yet. It will be ready soon though. Basically, lots of new platforms for new missions around Crusader, interesting places to explore, lots of mission locations there for like the assault, the building ones. They're also going to be activating the old ones again because they currently have paused them, and I believe we'll also see the Siege of Orison most likely. That will come on intermittently. There's new retrieval consignment missions. An item or list of items are the mission goal. You'll need to get them from a bunker or underground facility. The dispenser there, so some of these will have dispensers in, and they spit out items if you put in the right consignment number for those items. And you'll get some of these off guards, and guards will spawn in ever-increasing difficulty waves and swarms of them. So you can stay there for a while and get loads of cool loot, but it's going to get harder and harder and harder. Cloud Imperium also plan to get the Spirit A1. So this is the Crusader Spirit series, starting with the A1, which is the bomber variant. Others they are still working on, so the C1 I would expect relatively soon afterwards, but the A1 is the first one that are getting done. There's a couple of features that have been removed from 3.20. They might appear in 3.20.x or the next major patch after that, but we don't know. I'm really disappointed that multi-crew Arena Commander stuff has been removed from the initial build. So this was the ability to spawn in a friend's ship while doing Arena Commander stuff. So Pirate Swarm and Vandal Swarm. This is really going to mix up the game when it comes out because you can have really interesting tournaments with larger ships fighting each other that are fully crewed, taking on Vandal Swarm in larger ships as a crew. It's a really simple feature. Obviously, we have in the persistent universe, but having it in Arena Commander, especially when it's been updated, is going to be really important. Also, the ship trespass sort of legal update has been removed from 3.20 at the moment. So this was the ability to more readily and easily deal with unwanted guests on your ships. So unwanted guests turn up and you can freely deal with them, basically shooting them without getting a crime rating, while also informing the person that's sort of a stowaway that they are trespassing. There are some additional expectations of this 3.20 patch as well, at least from me. More new missions. Cloud Imperium have been working on loads of reputation stuff and mission stuff, and I am expecting a load of mission updates, potentially some minor reputation changes as well. I'm expecting an economy update because of the Hull C, the 32 SU sort of size boxes. Cargo's now at a much larger scale, potentially because of the Hull C and those new boxes. Also, they're doing that mining update as well, so I suspect they want to shake things up a bit. General weapon tweaks. You can expect a few little general weapon tweaks and that sort of stuff, bit of balance going on there. Expect a lot of other little things turning up, which we won't know about until they start doing patch watches on them. Potentially a new ship or variants of ships. Things like the Fury LX, we know it's coming out soon. That could come out before 3.20 or with 3.20. Cloud Imperium are working on a load of other ships and vehicles and variants at the moment, some of which may be for 3.20. Some might be for the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo or CitizenCon. A variety of new items will be added to the loot pool that you can find in-game, from sub-flare, sub-items, that sort of stuff. Invisible player and desync issues. Cloud Imperium have been working through a lot of these, and they said, hopefully, they should be solved in 3.20, but if they're not, then they're going to be looking at it and solving it as a priority. Also, I said Siege of Orison is likely going to be run again at some point as a dynamic event during 3.20's cycle, but also I would expect Xenothreat and Jumptown. Now, this is going to be partly based on have they got some of this invisible player and desync stuff sorted. Running these major events throughout the 3.18 and 3.19 branch has caused loads of major problems and knock-on effects. 3.20 should be significantly more refined with persistent entity streaming though, and some of these problems should be largely solved. Was talking to a dev the other day as well, and one of the big things they're doing in 3.20 as well is they've been addressing exploits quite a lot. Previously, they would have deemed these generally like bugs, but they're now looking at exploits that they can solve. Boom! That's it for your Alpha 3.20 update and what we know about the patch currently. I am really interested to know, are you excited for this? When do you expect the Wave 1 PTU to actually come out? Do you think we'll see live by the end of September? Are you looking forward to those major Arena Commander changes? Are you disappointed with the fact that the multi-crew Arena Commander stuff isn't planned for 3.20 initial release anymore? Are you excited by the Hull C and those cargo updates? Do you think the Ares sort of updates they've got planned here might make that ship a lot better? I just really want to know what you think about Alpha 3.20, and you should tell me in the comments below. Are we alone in the universe? The truth is out there, but what if aliens visit Earth? But they're like monsters, and all they do is look through your internet history, judging you, laughing at you with all their alien friends, watching your every move live, and then they send like 1 million ads to you about alien products that you don't want, like those shoes and socks that have a gap between your big toes. No one needs that. But what you do need is nordvpn.com/BoredGamer, which helps you prevent that happening from the more real threat of humans doing the same. It encrypts your internet connection, hides your IP address and location, it has an inbuilt ad blocker, and also helps you gain access to region-based content. You should go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer and get a big old discount. You can also click the links below. Every month, we have a ship giveaway. For August, it's for a Crusader Mercury Star Runner with lifetime insurance. This medium-sized, well-armed cargo and data hauler is great for trying out a huge range of what Star Citizen has to offer, a perfect mission runner ship. To be in for a chance of winning, just comment on any of my videos made during the month. More details in the description below. There are some amazing people that help support the channel by clicking on the join button under my videos and becoming a channel member or becoming a Patreon with the links below. That helps keep the channel going and producing daily content. Please consider joining their ranks, but commenting, liking, subscribing, that all massively helps too. Thanks for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the verse.